Namaste Mitro. This is the second and final part of the documentary series Impact of Epidemics on Human Society. The cases that we analyzed in the previous video are examples of near past when civilized human society grew enough equipped to fight against micro creatures, although the stake has been sky high. But it leads to another question: how ancient societies, depending completely upon nature for all cures, would have fought a similar calamity. Could they survive the burst of epidemic or evaporated helpless like water drops against the brutal attack of unidentified enemies? Also, how far past can alert us as a society from committing suicidal moves? Let's check some facts regarding this. A new study, based on the detailed reading of skeletal remains found in burial sites near Harappa, was jointly conducted by three US anthropologists from Appalachian State University, North Carolina, and Dr. Veena Mushrif Tripathi from Deccan College, Pune, which concluded that leprosy appeared in the heyday of the urban Indus civilization and its prevalence significantly increased through time. In addition to this, tuberculosis appeared in the post urban phase, which signifies the evidence of infectious diseases being prime cause of stress to the disappearing society, if not exactly the final blow. Another important inference taken out from this investigation was that the marginalized communities were the worst sufferers who bore the dual strike of economic deprivation as well as natural strains. I'd like to quote here Gwyn Robbins Shugg, the chief examiner of the samples for confirming evidence of trauma and infectious diseases in three burial areas at Harappa, who says, it appears that the rapid urbanization process in Indus cities and the increasingly large amount of cultural contact brought new challenges to the human population. Infectious diseases like leprosy and tuberculosis were probably transmitted across an interaction sphere that spanned Middle and South Asia. Molecular and skeletal evidence speak of a microbacterial tuberculosis complex, that is MTBC lineage, in the South Asian population for millennia. It has been associated with human communities from the origin of urban life, or even before that. Samples from West Asia suggest that at least from 7000 BC, MTBC was present there, if not earlier to this date. Infection of microbacterial tuberculosis was present in the urban Egyptian society also between 3500 to 2650 BC, and it was existent in South Asian communities since the last Holocene period, facilitated by increased population and cultural contact. Tuberculosis is the most deadly disease even to the present days of corona spread, when on one corona casualty there are 12 TB deaths reported. It accumulated legends and stories in the Middle Age of Europe, where the disease was popularly known as the king's evil, meaning that mere touch of kings of England can save lives of those suffering from TB. The decline of Indus Valley civilization is speculated due to two more deadly diseases, that are cholera and malaria. In the ancient Chinese medical text, Huangjin Jing, first mention of malaria is documented. It estimates presence of this disease in around 2700 BC. Since then, it has infected large population worldwide. Romans were strange innovators who proposed a bizarre cure for malaria. They used to tie an amulet around the neck of patients which had written on it abracadabra. And interesting. Somewhat similar in nature was another contagious disease, namely yellow fever, infected through mosquitoes. It originated in Africa in 1500 AD and reached America through slave trade, and found a pretty convenient residence in the coastal towns of North and South America in 17th and 18th centuries. British forces, which marched to annex Peru and Mexico in 1741, lost its two-thirds of the army by this painful black vomiting disease. Now let's discuss the fights which civilizations faced against epidemics or against the disease. It can be said that no progress in any human society can claim to withdraw its people from surrendering before the unwanted fear of death. Still, the size of disaster is often measured in comparison to how great was the civilization when it collapsed. Many flourishing civilizations, ancient societies, perished between 3000 BC to 600 AD. Some regerminated, such as Egyptian and Chinese civilizations. Some transformed themselves, like the Indus Valley, and some could not make it long, like the people of Easter Island. In some cases, like Rome, chief cities of a dead empire were revived by new people, whereas some were left deserted without known reasons, like the Mayan people and the Mayan ruins. A study of civilizational collapse due to pandemics gives an important lead to future concerns. As Arnold Toynbee wrote in his 12-volume famous treatise, A Study of History, great civilizations are not murdered. Instead, they take their own lives. Collapse of a civilization is decided at the time of its birth. Uh, Civilizations may be of different size and grandeur, but the seed of decline is sown with malhandling of the resources it is provided with. Luke Kemp, collapse expert at the Center for the Study of Existential Risk at the University of Cambridge, rightly concludes with his well researched remark that we will only march into collapse if we advance blindly. We are only doomed if we are unwilling to listen to the past. The Mayans, who once made New World's most advanced pre Columbian civilization, carving stone cities in the jungles of Mexico and America, and creating astronomical marvels like their unique calendar system, died history's most enigmatic death. Theories suggest deforestation, peasant revolt, pandemics, and class clashes might be probable reasons for the decline. Polynesians settled on Easter Island between AD 300 to 1200 near Chile, erected giant moais, that are stone statues, weighing average 82 tons, cut down almost every last tree, and died an eco-catastrophical death. Similarly, Indus Valley people who maintained world's most sanitization conscious cities in their largest settlement area were forced to wind up their urban centers due to agricultural difficulties caused by disturbed monsoon, resulting in society clashes and epidemics. What lies common among these and many other similar examples? It's the way man and technology together behaved towards nature. Man and technology complex, better known as civilization, may achieve grandeur by exercising its intelligence, but rude intelligence, indifferent of compassion and a sense of giving, may fall a prey to progress trap. One may argue that the examples of agrarian society of Indus Valley, Egypt, and empirical Rome bear no relevance regarding the theory of collapse in the age of artificial intelligence and innumerable technology. But stop a second to ponder. Technology can provide artificial security, but it raises the risk of greater fall from a greater height. In this age of nuclear proliferation, mental disorders, and unjust wealth sharing is a standing threat to disease struck slanting society. Temptation for absolute authority will only assure absolute termination as a society. So, next time you stand behind the window bars of your room, thinking about the size of the virus and the number of most developed science laboratories doing research on them, don't forget to remind yourself that this world belongs to all. Unless shared, no human society is shielded. Any suggestions from my side? Yes, of course. Read to what is written in ancient texts of our cultures. There you may find a prayer like Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Try to understand what the genius like Kautilya means while proposing in texts like Arthashastra. May ahimsa, satya, cleanliness, freedom from malice, compassion, and tolerance be duties common to all, and that the economic gain is important but only through just means. Wealth accumulated through adharm leads to quick death only. Try to look at Vivekanand in addition to this, when he suggests that every dharma should satisfy stomach first, and inequality of any kind is self destructive to human society. Try to revisit the participatory governance of the Republican states of Buddha's time, cited by Ambedkar, while advocating democratic autonomy for India. Try to know tribes like Marias and Gonds of central India, central and western parts of India, who practice greater freedom and distributive justice in their villages, in their village parliaments, and are habitual of practicing Earth Day from times unknown. And most importantly, try to minimize your needs, which can be counted on fingers but are fulfilled enormously, sometimes at the stake of others' heads and stomach. Thank you.